What's going on, everybody? I'm Alex Powers, and today, well actually, we're gonna go through yesterday's workout today. Okay, so, big day, right before the meet, last intro lift or opener that I went through. So, like I said, if you saw the last video, what did I say? I like to start every time with core work, okay? So I did these planks, they were reach outs, I was sliding my hand across the turf, really get a good stretch into that serratus, those obliques, and those core muscles, specifically the transverse abdominis. That is so you can help stabilize everything, your spine, the rest of your body. Right after that, I went into windshield wipers. I don't see a lot of people do these off of a bench. When I'm whipping my legs back and forth, that's putting a ton of torque. Your legs are heavy. When you're whipping them back and forth like that, it's really getting those obliques to stretch and contract, and to not only do that, but be explosive in that process. Not that, I'm rotating during a squat, a bench press, or a deadlift, or, any of those three movements, overhead and stuff like that. But in daily life, we rotate all the time. I have 3 kids. I rotate all the time. My head is constantly on a swivel. If you're an athlete, you're constantly moving. You need to be explosive in through your hips and in through your midsection, and being able to rotate a big piece of that. Okay, so the first thing I did, like I said, what I say, we're benching. So I activated my upper back and also did some stretching and stuff like that, so you guys could see. I did wide grip, mag, lat pull downs. I was seated, set to 15 to 20. Really get those lats to contract hard. Like I said, I was going for a max upper bench, so really wanted to make sure I had a ton of blood in my upper back. Next, I did A's. I was on an incline, and when I was doing that, I was going palms back, okay? Typically, when I have myself do A's or even my clients, I'm going knuckles back and I'm going like this, okay? For this, I was doing palms back so that I can squeeze my entire shoulder blade back. It's almost like doing a pull down, but it's a very limited range of motion. Doing that with a dumbbell in your hand, the physics is just forcing that to work just a little bit differently. So hit those 15 to 20 reps, really squeeze that upper back. Then I did shoulder dislocators, okay? When you guys are doing these, this is to stretch out your pecs and your lats. Just get those shoulders good and primed and loose and back to what is called an ideal position for posture and everything else. Good length tension relationship in those muscles in there, so then you're not potentially going to get hurt going into a press. That's how pec tears happen and everything else. So like I said, I did about 20 of those. I did 3 sets of that. Like I said, not going for anything crazy here, not hitting 4 or 5 sets. 3 sets, just kind of get the blood in there, get warmed up. Next, I went into my bench. I have a separated shoulder. I haven't really talked about that much before. Happened years ago. Anyway, I finally got to the point where I'm not in pain when I'm doing a barbell bench press. So like I said, it's actually starting to get fun for me again. I touched the most weight that I have in a long time. Yay, me! So before today, or actually yesterday, the best I had ever done was 275 for 3, and like I said, I had terrible shoulder pain and everything else. Literally felt like a hot poker was just going right here. So it was no good. Today, or yesterday actually, sorry, I hit 290 pounds, okay? So for the meet, maybe gonna shoot for 300. We'll see how we feel on that day. Obviously I got a squat before, so gonna be a little different. Big key with the bench press though, guys, as a quick tip. When you guys are benching, okay, any type of press, a lot of people, when they go to press, are coming here, okay? You're coming to a 90-degree angle. That's putting a ton of pressure right there on the front of that shoulder joint. That's why labrums are torn very often and stuff like that. What I've just learned through many years, and I've had many powerlifters, physical therapists, Eric Serrano, a ton of people have talked about keeping your shoulders down and back, depressing those scapulas. You are getting a slight arch in the lower back, not to the point where you're bowed like a bridge, but just to the point where you have an activated back. You have an active foundation there, because when I come down, I'm coming down to about my top row of abs or my nipple line, and then when I press, what that's doing is that's protecting my shoulder joint. You see that my shoulder is back behind where my chest is at. That's not putting any pressure here. It's all tricep, it's all chest, and like I said, my back is taking a lot of the movement. You actually do more pressing with your lats than what you think you do. Okay, so that's just kind of a side note, quick tip for you guys. So that's the bench. You guys can see I worked up through there. I made pretty conservative jumps, and like I said, as I started getting closer, my opener is going to be 245 for the meet. So like I said, as I kind of up each one. Like I said, it gets a little harder and harder and harder, but I was conservative with that. I only went for singles after 245, so got to keep it fresh and everything. I'm resting these next couple days before the meet. The meet's 2-2, so like I said, when this video comes out, which will probably be next week, you guys will see this, so it'll be post-meet. But anyway, hopefully we'll have an update on what I hit then. Next thing that I did, really I should have taken that off, but I'm a little stubborn and I knew I wasn't going to work out for a couple days, so I wanted to continue. I did incline bench presses. I did sets of 10 to 12, a little bit lighter weight, just trying to get some blood into the tissue. And then I did an interesting exercise, another pull down. It was a close grip, pronated mag grip, okay? So when I was doing those, you can see that I'm doing lat pull down, I'll pull, and then I reach my head through and I contract. I stretch. So what that's doing is when I'm pulling down for the contraction, obviously I'm activating my mid-back, mid-lower trap specifically, my lats. When I come up and I push my head through, I'm getting my pec to stretch. Okay, so you guys can see in the video that we have shown here, me pushing that head through, holding for a couple seconds, and then leaning back and pulling down again. Like I said, when your head goes through there, in between your arms, it is so easy just to get a good chest stretch. That way when I'm kind of supersetting these two, it's really trying to pump a lot of blood in there, and like I said, you grow a muscle by stretching and contracting. So upper chest is one of those hard things that develop, so any tips and all tips are obviously appreciated. So I'm giving what I know to you guys because I'm seeing that it works for me. Right after that, guys, I kind of went through just like a burner of a circuit. I did bent over rear delt raises, sets of 10 to 15. Like I just kind of went with it to kind of see how I was feeling. I started with 10. I think the last set I did 15 after I kind of got going a little bit more. I went straight from that to a banded face pull. So banded face pulls are really interesting. Obviously a band, the farther you pull it, the more resistance you're gonna get. So up close, you're not gonna get a ton, but the farther you step back and you really crank on that thing, it's gonna get a lot harder, okay? I was a couple feet back, and like I said, I did sets of 15 to 20 there. Man, you talk about a burn and a way to get those muscles pumped up in a hurry. Like I said, upper back when it comes to bench. So we did the bent over rear delt raises, we did the banded face pulls. The next thing I did is I went up and I did lateral raises, okay? Right after that, like I said, just trying to get some blood into the shoulders, try to keep them healthy and try to keep them full before the meet on Sunday. So like I said, when I'm doing lateral raises, guys, like it's about pulling with your elbows up as opposed to pulling with your wrists and gripping the shit out of the dumbbell. If you are just squeezing the hell out of that dumbbell, all of that recruitment in your muscles is gonna go right to those forearms and like in your wrists. Then when you pull up, the concentration is gonna go away from the side of your shoulder and it's gonna be more like into your arm and your forearm. That's why, like, if you see a lot of bodybuilders that have elbow issues, I kind of mentioned in the last video about doing too much tricep and hammer curls too heavy, this is also what can cause the pain. Like I said, like bodybuilders have to have kind of like those cap shoulders. This is what is gonna help get that and really develop that part of the muscle. But like I said, doing too many, not doing them correctly is what's going to really aggravate that elbow a little bit too much. So, like I said, focus on pulling with the elbow. Act like you're a puppet and there's strings pulling you up here. Okay, strings pulling you up, and just focus right here on that lateral head, okay? The lateral head is like from about here to here on the shoulder, okay? Like some people are like, oh, it's the front delt, it's not the same. It's like they're two different things. They activate very similarly, but they are different. Okay, I do keep a neutral hand too when I do that. So I don't dump out pitchers, I don't do any of that. I keep a neutral hand. Not a big fan of doing that. That puts a lot of stress on that supraspinatus. I see a lot of guys swinging 30, 35 pound dumbbells. If your supraspinatus can handle that, more power to you. Mine can't, so I'm not gonna do it. Anyway, moving on. So after that, I did hammer curls. I did alternating for a set. I did simultaneous for a set. Again, I was in a hurry. Just trying to get a little bit of blood into those biceps and just keep those elbows healthy. I only did 20 pounds. Like I said, I'm not trying to crush myself. I'm not looking for, 30-inch arms by Sunday. So like I said, just got a little bit of volume, a little bit of blood in there. Then the last I did was shrugs, okay? There, like I said, again, just trying to get blood into the upper back. I did sets of 20. Again, just trying to get those traps a little fired up before Sunday's meet and just kind of keep blood in there for the next couple of days. Another thing that I did at the very end, which is kind of interesting, I don't see a lot of people doing it, I don't see a lot of people talking about it, but it is very shoulder health conscious, and is actually the reason for it. As I did brachiating, which is where you're hanging from a bar. Like I said, you just need to be able to dead hang. I dead hang for about 30 seconds right now. Like I said, I'm trying to get my time up. It is quite challenging. You don't really realize holding your body weight for that long is as difficult as what it is. But holding that, you're stretching everything. You're getting decompression there throughout your entire body, not just your upper back, your lower back too. Your shoulders are stretching out, your lats are stretching out, and it's gonna be painful. It's gonna suck. Those of you guys that are extremely tight, when you guys get up there, the first couple seconds isn't bad, you gotta relax. The only tension you should have is literally from here to here, okay? Here to here, that's all. No tension everywhere else in your body, you just gotta let it go. You're physically gonna stretch yourself out. Gravity is going to stretch you out. And like I said, it is brutal. The first couple times you do it, it is terrible, but you know what? Your shoulders feel like $1,000,000. Again, I really do attribute my separated shoulder not hurting and me being able to actually bench due to bracketing. I've been doing it a couple months now and literally been a lifesaver for me. Give it a go, guys. Give it a go at the end of the workout. It's a great stretch. It's a great way to, like I said, keep those shoulders loose and stuff like that and keep them healthy. Something easy to do too. You don't need anything else out of a pull-up bar. Majority of gyms have pull-up bars now, so like I said, just giving that a go is huge. But anyway, that's all for today. Like, subscribe, and turn on the post notifications. Follow us on Instagram, Alex J. Powers and The Power in Motion. And like I said, I will see you all soon. I love you guys. Talk to you after the meet. Boom!